the What's Next. With that, we are joined by Parliament Hill Bureau Chief Cormac Mac Sweeney, who is standing by live for us in Montreal. Where, Cormac, I hope you have your coffee. I know it was a late night. You were at Liberal headquarters. How are you doing today after what happened last night?
I'm tired. I'm very, very tired right now, as I'm sure you are. Not enough caffeine in the world right now. But it feels like Groundhog Day, really. Like, we're back here. 2 years ago, I think we were chatting the morning after, talking about how the Liberals had 150 some odd seats with a minority government, and the Conservatives, everybody's almost exactly where they were. So I think it's leaving a lot of people questioning, why did we have this election if we just came right back to where we were in the first place? Liberals trying to spin that, saying they've got a new mandate, that this is what they were looking for. They didn't have a pandemic mandate before, so they had to change things to make sure they got a mandate from Canadians in order to proceed with their plan, because there are a bunch of new promises that they never had in 2019. So that's the way they're spinning this. But, it's clear. I think a lot of Canadians are wondering this morning why we went through all of this.
Okay, Cormac, so whatever you want to call it, mandate. All right, so now what's next? How are they going to work with other parties to make things happen?
Well, I think it's clear they're going to look for dance partners, and I think they'll find that on some of their key promises with the NDP, as they did in the last parliament. They promised a lot of stuff that, sort of leaned over into left-wing NDP territory, as they did in 2015 and 2019 to try and form government. So, things like $10 a day childcare is probably just going to be worked out with the federal government and the provinces. Most provinces have already signed on. So that's probably going to go through, and we'll wait to see whether the other provinces, now that the election is over, sign on, especially in Ontario, where the Ford government hasn't given that approval yet, but he's got a re-election to think about as well. So be on the lookout for that. But, what's next as well, I think there are some leadership questions. On top of the normal stuff, we're going to have a throne speech where we hear the priorities. We're going to have a cabinet shuffle. We're going to see new faces in cabinet. But there will be leadership questions. Annamie Paul with the Greens, she's faced a lot of internal divisions, and there's a lot of talk about whether she'll stay on. Erin O'Toole, right up to in the days leading up to the election, there were open leadership questions there as well. He's clearly saying he wants to stay to fight on, but just like Andrew Scheer in 2019. Scheer took the popular vote, but still was given the boot by his party, basically. So we'll see what happens with Erin O'Toole. Justin Trudeau as well. It's hard not to look at this and say, why did this happen? And whether there should be questions of leadership involved with his position at the moment, considering he's the one who triggered this election and came back with not much to show for it in terms of gains. But I will note that I was speaking with several MPs and top Liberal staff yesterday. They all said they still have full confidence in Justin Trudeau. So we'll see where that leads. Okay,
Cormac, lastly for you, you've been doing this for years. How many elections have you seen? Did anything surprise you?
I was surprised with the outcome itself. To have a campaign end almost exactly the same way it started is highly unusual. But it was such a divisive campaign and an aggressive one as well through the last month. And so that was kind of surprising to see how aggressive it got at times. But with the election night results, I'm still kind of shocked to see it come back exactly the same as it was. You usually do not see that in elections. But, there were a few other surprises as well. The Greens picking up a seat in Ontario, that's big news for them. That's a big feather in their cap, but they come back only with 2 MPs right now, so they still face the status quo. And then a few ministers as well getting the boot, to Miriam Monsef, Deb Schultz, and Bernadette Jordan. So, we're going to see, but sometimes you get that in campaigns where cabinet ministers get the boot.
All right, Cormac, we appreciate your time as always. That hotel bed looks super duper comfy. So go back, crawl in there. Appreciate you taking the time with us. Take a nap, get a coffee, whatever you need to do. You deserve it. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right. 8:13 is your time right now. Steph